brought to you by Sisterlocks.com. My name is Cassandra Lawson, and I'm your host. And I have the privilege to have Celeste Geary here in the studio with me. Hello, Celeste.
Hello, Cassandra.
Can we start off by, can you tell us what do you do? How are you a part of the Sisterlocks organization?
Currently, I am the manager, supervisor of our certification process or certification program.
Okay. So you say currently, what have you done in the past?
You mean, what haven't I done?
Yes.
Okay. In the past and most recently, I have been a certified Sisterlocks consultant. I've also been a Sisterlocks certified trainer. And I have taught retightening courses. What else? Oh, I've done way long time ago the certification process when everything was done by mail and by hand. Any other side jobs, whatever needed to be done. When we used to have our Sisterlocks homecomings, that was a big job, not just for me, but for everybody, including Dr. Cornwell. I can't think of anything else that Sisterlocks does that I haven't participated in. There were a few years there where I had some medical difficulties, so I was unable to participate, but I'm back.
Today, we're going to be talking about our certification process.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to start out by distinguishing the fact that all Sisterlocks consultants start out as trainees. Mm-hmm. To become a consultant, Sisterlocks consultant, you have to demonstrate, you have to take the class, and you have to demonstrate a basic understanding of the Sisterlocks techniques. Mm-hmm. Celeste, can you tell us what's the difference between a certified consultant and a trainee?
Basically, you've pretty much said what the difference is. Anyone who really is interested in Sisterlocks, wants to know how it functions, what there is about it, will take the Sisterlocks training class. When you finish that class, it's not mandatory that you become certified. Not everybody wants to be certified. They want to be able to learn the process, do the process to the best of their ability, and that's what they do. We don't force them to become certified. However, a lot of our ladies and men have found out that in order to become extremely proficient in what they're doing, they really want to look at that certification program. Certification program allows you to to learn more, to go more in depth, and to basically test yourself on a regular basis. We have refresher courses that we offer, and from day one, I've been requesting or suggesting that our trainees, if they're going for certification, and even after they've been certified, every 2 years, you need to take a refresher class. A lot of times what we do is we assume that once we've done everything originally, we got it. We know what's going on. And in fact, you don't know. So it never hurts to be humble enough to say, I got to learn more. So you'll hear people say, Sisterlocks has changed, or they didn't teach that when I was coming along. Bottom line is, everything is being taught not in the same way, but the method is exactly the same as it was in 1993 when we started the business. So the processes have changed. How we do it has changed. How we learn it, has changed. But the actual process has been the same. And those of us who have been around for a long time, when we switched to more digital delivery of the program, we were told that we needed to update our videos and our class sessions. But in fact, we've kept the same. And then there are parts of what you're learning today. You'll see a video that is from 1993, 94, because the information is the same. The delivery process has changed. So you can't say that Sisterlocks is different. However, if you don't learn it and renew and revive what you've learned, then you're never going to be what you want to be, which is almost perfect, which you should be. You should try to do it exactly the way it's supposed to be done, so that your clients can appreciate when people come up to them and say, wow, did your hair? It's gorgeous. So that would be you. You would be the person. And that's what you want to strive for.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
When I took the class, my master trainer, Michelle Bryant, she said that you should take a refresher course every year. And I believed her. And so every year I would take the class. And what was interesting, every time I've taken the class over all these years, I've always learned something new, or I learned it in a different, more in depth. It was taught originally, like some of the repair techniques. I might not have understood it because I hadn't ran into that in my business. But once I had some experience, when I came back to do the refreshers, I was able to ask questions and have a better understanding. And it really has helped me throughout the career of my locks. And now that I'm a trainer, it really has helped. I'm still learning all of the time. The continuing education does not stop. I still take refresher classes. I still do at least one or two a year, and I'm always learning something. And students keep me on my toes. You know,
Don't they though?
yes, they are sharp and they ask a lot of questions.
Yep.
And I try to always make sure I'm by the book, giving the correct answers. But if I do not know, I always have my book open, my guide to follow. And I'll reach out to other members of our training team, our training supervisor, to get clarification if I am not, if I'm not correct. And I think that is really important. So with all that being said, we've lectured, right?
Oh yeah.
About the importance of the refresher classes, why we should become certified. So can you tell us, how do you manage the evaluation process?
You have completed the course and you feel you're ready to go ahead and then go into a certification program. I say A because there are two different paths through which you can get the certification. However, we emphasize that you do it through our academy, which is the online process. There are many of us who are unable to, for various reasons, use computer access. So we also still have the mail-in process. It's slightly different, but basically, when you get to the point where you have to be evaluated, you still go through an evaluator. Okay, but other parts of the process are totally different. You're mailing in all of your information, and then there's a process. Your files stay at the home office. They don't come to us. So there's a lot that goes on. Also, before I get the information that you're ready to sign up and start the program, there's a lot of information, a lot of tallying, a lot that goes on in the home office that we don't get involved with. Our job is to evaluate. Until they reach the point where they can say, all right, we have all the documentation, we have everything that we need. This person is going to be in either the mail-in program, or more than likely they're going to be in our what we call S5 program. So that just means that's the 5th iteration of the online certification program. So your program, if you're doing it online in the academy, is S5. But there's preparation that you have to do too. So once I get from the home office your name and your specific information, when you took the course, where you took the course, a lot of other information, then is where our process starts.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm a new trainee, right? I just took the class and I'm super excited. I've done 3 establishments, right? I did the consultation, I did the locking session, I did the follow-up, and now I feel like with my 3rd establishment, it is up to the Sisterlocks standard, and I'm ready to start my certification process, okay? So I took my pictures, I documented all my work. I'm gonna go online, and so I submitted my paperwork. Not my paperwork. I've paid my $175. That's the current price for certification. And so that is when I'm letting you guys know that I'm ready to start the process. Do I immediately turn in my photos at that time, or what happens after that point?
Hang on to all your goodies, because what happens is once I get your name from the home office, and they send them in droves. In a minute, I've got some numbers to let you know how we're handling, how many cases we're working with, how many ladies and men. But the first thing is, when I get your information, I'm going to send you a welcome letter. And in that welcome letter, it tells a lot of basic information. It also lets you know who your evaluator is. What you want to do is learn how to enter the program, and we give you that information and what you need to do in order to get into the system, and then who your evaluator is. Then once I send you that information, there are several forms online that I have to complete for my records. I also send a notice to your evaluator, letting her know that she has a new trainee. So she's ready. She will send you her welcome letter. So you should be getting two. And she gives you even more information about that. And we've got, as a matter of fact, starting, I think I'll be sending it out July 1st. There's going to be an updated letter from your evaluators, giving you updated information of the courses that we have that you can take that are going to help you, the boot camp, and then there are a couple of other courses or ways to do better with your process. Okay, so you got all that information. I've entered you into the system. I've sent your information to your evaluator. She has sent you her welcome letter. Once you got that, actually, you can start when you get my welcome letter, because I'm going to tell you how to get into the system, and you're going to use your code and password that you already use through Sisterlocks. So that's not so you don't have to remember a whole lot of additional work. Anyway, you get into the program and you go directly to, just once you get to the page, just follow the instructions, and it leads you through every single step that you need to take. It tells you what kinds of pictures you need, when you need to do them, when you need to turn them in.
Let's just back up just a little bit. How long can it take from the time I've paid for my certification until it gets to you? Because we have filing periods, right? We have our filing period A and filing period B.
Mhm.
Filing period A goes from January 1st to June 30th, or is it 31st? Ooh, don't get me on dates. Until the end of June.
Yeah.
Okay, to the end of June.
Right.
And then filing period B is from July 1st to the end of the year.
December 31st.
Yes. So right now we're in June. We're getting ready to close out filing period A, right?
Mhm.
And so if I filed my paperwork January 1st, when will that paperwork make it to you?
That depends on what the home office has to go through. If they don't have all of your information, they're going to hold it up until they get everything they need in order to send it to me. Sometimes you'll get a phone call because they need to have additional information that kind of speeds it up.
Mhm.
When they have everything, then they send it to me.
Gotcha.
And it sits in this pool until I assign it to one of the evaluators. Now, that evaluator may already have 6 people in her queue, in her line, all right? Because we only have 6 evaluators. Okay. We have at this point 345 people who are active in the program. And that means that they're in various stages of submitting their work, getting things together, giving us additional work because they haven't met the standard at a certain level. So we're dealing with usually, and then plus the 10 young ladies I haven't submitted yet, throw them in there. So you're dealing with, 500, about between 400 and 500 people at all times.
So how many evaluators are working on these
6.
500 people? 6.
6 people. None of them are full-time evaluators, and that's by choice. There's nothing that says you have to do evaluations all the time. Once a week, they have the 7 days. Actually, they have 6 days to do the process and to send out the evaluation letter and to send a copy of it to me so that I know what's going on. So also, there's a minimum of 2 evaluations per week. Then it goes up to 6 evaluations per week. So there are evaluators who only do 2 because they have children, they have a full-time job, they're trainers. By the way, everybody who becomes an evaluator has to be a brand ambassador. So, they may teach, retightening classes. They do a lot of other things. So they only have time to do 2 a week. And that's what they do. All the way up to a couple of our ladies who are doing 6 evaluations a week. But, you have to know that if you're in line and you're the second person in line, that person, that evaluator, is working on what she's currently doing, and it's going to take her a week to do that. So you're second in line, there's a whole week that's going to pass before she even looks at your work. And then there's another week for her to do the process, to evaluate everything and to send you your evaluation letter. Okay. So it seems slow, but until AI becomes more effective and folks figure out how to get a machine to process what you're doing, it's going to be human beings. And it has to be, because these ladies know what they're doing. The one thing that doesn't happen is that you send your paperwork in and it comes in straight to the evaluator. That's not going to happen. So it does take some time. So you may send yours in say, I don't know, January 2nd. More than likely, it's going to get done sooner than later. It's not going to be July before we get to it. Now, there are some cases where it's going to be July before we get to it. So in a perfect world, you send in everything you need to send in. We have a situation where some people send in their photos in a format that our system does not take. It's, now watch, I can't remember the letters, HEIC, I believe it is. Okay, so they send them in that format. We can't use it. So that's a delay. We need a JPEG format. That's what our computer system accepts. So, computers may be fast if everything is working right, but the computer is just a machine, and that's what it knows to process. So we have to go back and we have to email you and say, you need to send everything in this particular format. So, you don't like it, but you're only dealing with yourself and your things. I don't like it because I'm dealing with 300 people. And a lot of times, not very often, but a lot of times these things happen. And the evaluators will let me know, or you as a trainee are going to let me know directly. And so I have to do that. That kind of slows down a couple of other things that have to be done, because I'm the only person who does those things to get them straight for you. But I'd rather take a little bit of time and get it straight than not. Another thing you want to check on too is if you finish the program, the class this week, and you think you got it, and you send your stuff in. Maybe you've done one hit, maybe you haven't, but you're ready to be certified. Okay? No checks and balances there. You send it in, the home office does their thing, they send it to me, and I scan things before I look over stuff before I send it out. But just looking at a picture or two of what you have, if I see a lot of stuff, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not supposed to evaluate. I send it to the evaluator, and the evaluator is going to knock this down, cut that down, explain why you didn't have to do that. This should have been done that way. They're not, how can I say it? They will give you suggestions. They will help you. They will explain some things, but they're not going to coach you because they're not coaches. They're evaluators. They're just going to evaluate what you've done. So you want to make sure that you get to the point where, if you do have a coach or someone who can help you, talk to that person. The main person to talk to is your trainer, okay? Because that's the person who's ensuring you that you're learning what you're supposed to learn. And they're going to tell you, if you have any questions, just ask me, ask them, use them, talk to them. There's no rush. And if you are rushing, you probably are doing what you're supposed to do. Very seldom do our ladies go through the first time if they're trying to rush things through. It's not going to happen.
Well, my advice is, of course, we have to finish our mannequins now. So, finishing your mannequin is that first step to give you your confidence, to give you your speed, and that's where you make your mistakes. When you get to your clients, is to have that workbook out and follow all of the steps. Don't assume that you remember everything and follow all the steps. And I've had the opportunity on several occasions to read one of the evaluators' evaluations. Like a student will bring it to me, and a lot of times they'll say, "She's out to get me," and she
like she's got time to focus in on someone she doesn't know.
This was right, and then I'll go back and I'll look at the evaluation, and it's very nice because it's pretty much broken down by chapter. So if you stop and not take it personal, and you go back and look, you can see what they were talking about. And so usually after I have those conversations, I'll go back and say, no, that part isn't properly placed, or this is off. and they'll see where that was in their book versus them trying to guess. Sisterlocks, um, uh, straight parts does not equate to a perfect set of Sisterlocks. We want the parts to be straight, but they have to be properly placed and they have to
Exactly.
meet that Sisterlock standard.
Mhm.
And it is far from what you see online, right?
Oh,
We don't want to go.
we don't go online.
We're
I
not
don't
gonna.
go
I'm
online.
saying I don't want to go on a tangent of the misinformation that's online, but there's just this misunderstanding. You have to go by what you learn in class and what's in your workbook, and your evaluator will give you a beautiful evaluation to help you figure out what needs to be fixed. You go to your workbook and follow those steps. And if you're still struggling, like Ms. Celeste said, you can have a coach, a mentor, or you can contact your trainer. I give my number out to my students. I let them know that they can call me. If I'm busy, I tell them, just reach back again and I will definitely follow up. And whoever your evaluator is, make sure you contact them with the contact information that they give you. I have students, they try to reach out to me through Instagram and WhatsApp, all these places that I am not.
Mhm.
It's like in class, I've given you, you have my email, you have my phone number, my direct line. So
That's what you should use.
yeah, so don't just try to, contact someone, I don't know, via TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok, to talk about official Sisterlock business, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're more likely to get the response, that you need. And, and if you're really struggling, that's where those classes come in. They have the certification boot camp.
Right.
You can take that can help you. They have the online refreshers, which is amazing. Back in my day, I've been doing Celeste since 2006. When I did all those refresher courses, I had to do those in person, and they were 4 days, and they were great. But I had to, take time off to come in and sit through the whole class.
Right.
Whereas with the advanced refresher, you're getting everything, but you also get this personalized. You can ask questions in advance and submit them, and the instructor of the class will go over that information if you're struggling. So it's so nice that we have all of these online resources, classes that you can take online. There's going to be more coming out in the near future, some advanced education classes that we just didn't have in person. So take advantage of that.
Right.
And my big advice is, when in doubt, keep locking. There's no rush to getting certified. Some people, they get, they'll get their 3 heads in early and they get certified quickly. Some people, it may take you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But at the end of the day, as long as you're meeting your goals, that's what's important. And understand that to become certified, you have to meet the minimum Sisterlocks standard. Okay. And that's for your best interest of your business. It sets us apart from the bootleggers, people who try to imitate what we do. And it ensures our Sisterlocks clients that they're getting the best possible service, right? When someone says they want Sisterlocks and they're paying for Sisterlocks, that's what they expect. And as long as you're doing your best and continuing with that continuing education, things will work out well. But Celeste, what advice do you have for a trainee who is trying to get certified?
What advice? The most important thing is to be consistent in what you're doing, how you're doing it. If you have questions, be consistent. Even a small issue like, I can't get into the system to, upload my photos. Get in touch with your evaluator. They may not be able to help you, but they will send the information in to either me or directly to the home office. And we do have staff members who are capable of helping you with your computer issues. Sometimes it's all they have to do is that simple, easy stuff, which is easy for them because I don't have a clue. But they know what they're doing, and they will help you out. So that advice is just don't give up and stay on it, because we're not out to get you. We can't take this process with us when we go, but we can give it to you and you can learn it properly, and you can pick our brains and you can learn what you need to learn. The one thing I really appreciate is to see someone who has taken the training, who is continuing their education on Sisterlocks, and still will say, I think I need to learn a little bit more. I want to be perfect. We should teach you that what you're doing is an art, a form of art. And you're actually establishing a beautiful head of locks that one person can learn how to live with and just be the queen that she is. Or if he has brother locks, he can be the king that he really is. So those things, it's an attitude. It's something that you have to appreciate for yourself. What else? What other advice? Oh, just keep in mind that we do only have 6 people doing this, and they're doing it part-time. And they do take the cases in the order in which they receive them. And a lot of times, either we get the wrong email because someone has 2 or 3 emails on file. We assume we know, and I get that information from the home office. So if that's the wrong email address, we need to know that so we can get that corrected and send it to us, let us know, or call and let us know. That way we can clear that up. So you want to stay on top of that kind of thing. People get sick, seriously ill. I won't even talk about the pandemic because all of us were going through things, but those are things that will delay the process of your evaluations.
I tell students when they leave class, don't go into the witness protection program. Because you sign up for class with a particular email and phone number, and you leave and you immediately decide to change it, which is not the end of the world. But because everything is done by hand, even if your information is updated, there's still a chance that a piece of email may go to your old email address. So, until you get certified, it's very important that you check your first email address just to make sure if you feel like you're missing out on something. Because there has been cases where we'll have students, they change their email 4 times.
Yep.
And they're mad because they say that their evaluator didn't get back to them. Well, you've changed it twice since the evaluator has gotten your information.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it's done by hand, it's just really important, not by hand, by person, right?
Right.
It's really important that you try to keep your contact information updated, but keep it simple. So it makes it easy, because if they're working on approximately 500 people at a time, the easier it is, you'll incur less issues and you'll be able to get to that process
A little
quicker.
bit faster, right?
Right.
Personally, I do the majority of my communication and assistance through email. The reason I do it through email is because I need a trail. When I'm dealing with you, if something happens and you say to me, I talked to you last week and you said, and then I'll say, well, I didn't say that. You said, and so there we go. We're not making any progress. If I say, I sent you an email 3 days ago, and in the email, I'm looking right at it. This is what it said. Did you get this email? No. All right, then. Here, let me send it to you. Is this the correct address? Am I sending it to the right place? I'll send it to you. That way you have a trail and I have a trail, and it makes things a lot easier so that you can't really just claim that somebody's got it in for you, when in fact, like I said, we don't really have that kind of time. We don't know you personally. That's not what this is all about. So you need to kind of climb past that mentality and just realize that we want you to know what you're doing. We want you to be, if you say you're Sisterlocks certified consultant, I want to see that you are a Sisterlocks certified consultant. It probably has to do with my teaching history. I don't know, but probably, because we want you to be the best you can be. I was also going to mention the mannequin heads, but that's already been mentioned.
I'm a stickler. Well, now it's mandatory.
Good.
They're required to send pictures of their mannequins to their trainers, and we verify that was done. And the reason why is, like I said, it's the confidence. It allows you to get all those jitters out, because you learn your locking patterns, you learn the basics, so that when you do that first client, it's not your first time. Because like you said, we're not doing installs, we're doing establishments.
Yeah.
I like to say, I'm not giving someone a grid. I do not like that term.
No.
I'm giving someone customized partings and sections. It's customized to them, and it is a work of art, and it's different from everyone else. And so if you start off on your mannequin and you learn those basic techniques, when you get to your client, it's easier for you to apply that art to them and customize to them without taking shortcuts. And the only reason why I did my mannequin was because my instructor told me to do so. And I did everything that she told me to do in class. And throughout my career of doing Sisterlocks, I have not encountered any serious obstacles. And that included my original certification. I got certified in January of 2007. Miss Celeste gave me a call and asked me some questions and told me, I still remember your voice. And you said, you did such a good job, and told me that I was certified. And I immediately told everyone I was certified before I had the paperwork. But I did what she said, and I didn't have a lot of problems. Even when I was overseas doing Sisterlocks, when I came back, all the different steps, the system works. There are no shortcuts. And if you try to take shortcuts, it's really going to impede your progress with your business, however you want that to be, and it can cause problems for your clients. Celeste, I just want to say thank you for being here today. It is such an honor.
There's so much more we can talk about.
We're going to do another interview.
Yeah.
And we can just do another one, talk about another topic, because I know you are a wealth of knowledge.
I know. Oh, I wanted to show you something because I was the first certified Sisterlocks consultant. And it was a situation where my sister told me, because I learned Sisterlocks over the client's heads with her teaching me and, going, pointing. So at one point she says, I'm starting this program where we will have our trainees become certified consultants. I said, oh, that's really nice. And she says, and I have 2 ladies who are very close to being that first certified Sisterlocks consultant. And, you had to do your 3 heads and everything. She says, and you're one of them. And the other lady is really barreling down on you. So you might want to step it up. And just so you know, in our family, we have this saying or motto, whatever. And it is that family is family and business is business. She said that, and not the motto thing, because we came up with that a little bit later, but it really started a fire under my behind. So I actually worked my butt off and became the first certified Sisterlocks consultant.
Let's hold this up.
I'm so excited about that.
That is amazing. It says the 15th of August, 1994.
Yay.
And for those of you who don't know, who is your sister?
Dr. Joanne Cornwell.
Dr. Joanne Cornwell.
She's my younger. I have 2 younger sisters, and we're all nuts.
No, I think sometimes we assume that, I know I'm in the presence of Sisterlocks royalty, but we have so many new people who are becoming a part of the community who don't necessarily know the history. But that's what our podcast is meant to do, to educate about the history, basically our past, our present, and the future of Sisterlocks. And once again, Celeste, thank you so much for being here with me and sharing your information about the Sisterlocks certification process. And ladies and gentlemen who are getting certified, be patient.
Please.
It can take a while and it has to go through a lot of steps, but it's definitely worth it. Be patient. And if you have to reach out to ask for help, please be polite to the people who are trying to help you. They work really hard. There's a few people who do it, and they work really hard to make sure that that you get the information that you're looking for.
7 people who work remotely for Sisterlocks, directly for the company, and we have 7 people who work in the office. And then we have Dr. Cornwell, who splits herself, both working remotely and working in the office. So that's it to handle everything that has to be handled with Sisterlocks. It would be nice if we could double that number or triple that number. But you want people who are qualified, who care, who understand the importance of what they're doing, because this is not just a business. We are trying to make sure that people of color, not only in this country, but all over the world, get acknowledged for what they are, what they can be, what they can do. And we're picky about who comes to work for us, not just here, but throughout the world. We have classes in Europe, we have classes in Africa, we have classes, not Mexico yet, but we're getting there, because we have so many people of color who are like us. They're looking for something, and this is it. And when they find it, they need to know that that we have their backs, because it's more than just a hairdo. It's about you inside, who you are, and what you can become. So I know I'm preaching. I've been preaching for 30 years, and I will continue to preach, but it's very important that you understand that. And like I said, our motto, and you may want to pick it up too, family is family, but business is business. And in order for us to get our business done, we really need you. We depend on you, and we want you to appreciate and depend on us. The end. I'm going to stop.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. You can find us at sisterlocks.com, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, and hopefully coming soon on our TikTok. Bye.